I may not be the greatest reader in the world, but I am a great listener. And I can listen to any book that you want me to. And I'll sit there and I'll listen to it all. I'll listen to every single page, every single word, maybe. I guess you don't hear the pages, maybe as they flip, right? But it's something you get if you more read it, or if someone's reading. Let me tell you a story, because this is the book we're going to be reviewing a little bit here today. And I want to give you guys the breakdown of what the book's about, what I learned, and how it is going to influence your lives. If you haven't read it, go ahead and read it. It's the quickest read of my entire life. It was an hour and a half. Should I say it was the quickest read? Quickest listen of my entire life. An hour and a half of listening. Went to the gym, listened to it as I was working out. Came home, listened to it when I was trying to figure out a video idea to film, and then I finished it just this morning when I was at the gym again. Let's talk a little bit about this. Let's break it down, some of the key principles, the core ideas, core no pun intended, because we're going to talk a little bit on that, and so on, so forth, how this book might impact you. So I got my trusty journal and I wrote down a ton of notes. In the beginning, he talks about this life experience in which he was so depressed, he got laid off from his job, and he realized that something needed to change. Otherwise, something was going to change in the wrong way. And so he created this system in his life called the Core 4, as he calls it, which is based off of 4 principles: power, passion, purpose, and production. The 4 P's, the Core 4. Number 1, power. This is like physical wealth. It's your energy, your body. This is everything that is essentially going to make you feel good. This is like your confidence in life. If you have physical wealth, you're going to be confident. Let's be real. If you have energy, you're going to be confident. If you've got a good looking body, you're going to be confident. But not only that, it's going to feed into the next one, which is passion, which helps with relationships. If you have all of these things, your relationships are just going to be straight out stronger. Something we don't really acknowledge enough. 2, passion. Let's talk about passion a little bit. Again, like I said, it's relationships and your interpersonal life. Passion, he's talking about your relationships, and I actually have a really big point to bring up a little bit later about the relationships part, and we'll talk on this point a little bit more, but he's just saying just have positive relationships. Never have drama in your life. If there's drama, get it settled. Get that on that point, we'll come back to it. 3, purpose. So he talks about your mind, your spirit, your mental clarity, values. So if you want to create purpose in your life, you have to be really focused on your mind. You got to, like he does, take time to meditate. So he meditates every day. Your spirit, you got to make sure that you're connected to God, right? Anybody living life away from God is going to find that it feels quite empty. And then mental clarity, obviously study, read books, do things that clear your mind from all the distractions in the day. That don't scroll, right? Don't do things that blur the lines between what's right and what's wrong. Don't do those kinds of things. You want to find mental clarity, and then obviously have values, have your own values. And you do that by reading, by studying, by connecting with God. You do that by having a family, by being with your family, by being with friends that are positive, by just living a positive life. You create value. 4, production, work, business, financial output. And obviously, like, a lot of this is pretty self-explanatory. You can kind of get a base idea off of what each of these cores will do in your life if you chase them, or what your goals might be within these cores if you were to set some. And he argues that taking action in each of those cores, those 4 areas every single day, will steadily build momentum and transform your life. I mean, this is where discipline comes into play. I made a video a couple weeks ago that discipline didn't change my life, but rather routine did. And if you can create the discipline out of practicing these 4 things, then eventually after 30 to 66 days, you will then create a routine, and you won't want to miss any of these things. If you miss one of these cores in your day, if you miss that goal that you had to build a relationship, or to focus on your body, to go to the gym, you're going to feel guilty. You're going to feel weird, right? So it's important to practice this every day, not to miss a day, but to practice every single day and be dedicated to changing your life. Some other principles that he talks about is responsibility and ownership. He talks about a lot of the times. He says, take ownership for what you do. If your life sucks, it comes down to you. You are the reason your life sucks. You are the reason you're unhappy. You are the reason that you're poor. You are the reason. For every single one of these things, you are the reason. And you can solve all of your problems in just a couple of seconds. You just have to get to work. You got to get focused. So yeah, he emphasizes that you're responsible for everything wrong in your life, and you need to take ownership of it. You are a steward of your life. So take ownership, be a steward. Next, eliminate excuses. Obviously, if we're gonna come into life and we're gonna complain about the hard things in our life, how poor we are, we have to really get to a point, eliminate excuses. He references the book As a Man Thinketh several times. This book is by James Allen. It's a book that I just started. It's only an hour long. Again, a really quick read, just like this one. That's where you're going to get the most value, is these really quick reads, bite-sized pieces. He talks about how your mind is a garden, what you plant, the thoughts that you have, the ideas that you let settle in your brain essentially produce fruit. They produce fruit depending on what it is, that thought that you planted. So if you're creating excuses in your life, you're also creating barriers in your life. And so now you have to create a little bit of a mindset shift. So rather than asking, why not me? You need to start asking, how can it be me? The next one, he talks about actions over perfection. You're not going to be perfect right away, but it's better to take action right now than wait for the perfect opportunity later. I had to do that with my YouTube channel. You're going to have to do that with any point in life. Even though you don't have the perfect setup, you don't have the supplies or the perfect opportunity yet, you need to just start, because life's not going to wait for you. It's not prepping you for this perfect moment. There's no fee for entry. You just got to start. So actions over perfection. He stresses taking actions that are imperfect right now, and that is better than waiting for the perfect conditions. Next, clarity and goal setting. This was a really big one. You need to know what you want, right? He says a lot of people don't know the specifics of what they want, which is why we can't seem to achieve it. We don't really know what we're shooting for. So when someone asks you, how much money do you want to make? Or when you think about how successful do I want to be? What is going to be that key indicator? How will I know I've reached success? You need to know exactly what that looks like, how that would feel, the exact scenario, where you'll be. You need to know what you want. You need to know what you want from life. So for me, I'll know that I've succeeded on YouTube when I have 3 million subscribers. That's how I feel. And not that that's creating limitations upon your growth. It's just creating essentially it's creating an entrance. It's creating a doorway for you. With the clarity and goal setting, it says you need to know what you want in each core domain so you can align actions with intent. Have exact ideas. Next, resilience and adaptability. This was another key principle that he brought up that I thought was really cool. Expect setbacks, expect failures. And then he says also expect change. So adapt rather than give up. So sometimes you'll feel that things aren't working as well, things are starting to slow down. Rather than giving up or saying, oh, this didn't work for me, you need to create an adaptation. Just the technique needs to change. You see it in all sorts of things. Like when you go to the gym and you work out the same thing over and over again, your body gets used to that exercise. So yeah, you have to find new exercises. You have to find new combinations, right? So that your body can continue to progress rather than plateau. And then next, he talks about alignment across life domains. There's growth into one area, your body, relationships, mind. Those all feed into others. They feed into each other. But neglecting some will cause imbalance. It's like a chair. If the chair is missing a leg, you're probably not on the chair. You're probably on the floor. Let's be real. So you got to make sure that you work on all of these things. Otherwise, you create imbalance in your life, and you'll feel lost. You'll feel confused. You'll feel like your purpose isn't quite making sense. You'll feel like nothing is working, and it is simply because you are missing one of those cores. It's a point that I think we all understand pretty well. You have to make sure that you're all well-rounded. Make sure that you know what you're looking for and that you are achieving it. Now, the last thing I want to talk about, the idea that he brought up as far as relationships. He talks about eliminating drama from your life. And one of the examples he uses is that sometimes we have those friends that we're just not really that tight with anymore. We've created enemies in our life. And he says, go and text those people and let them know how you feel. He says, approach it like, say thank you. Eliminate the drama from your life so that these negative things don't manifest in reality. Go reach out to those enemies that you've created and say sorry. It's all about forgiveness. It's all about repentance. Christ tells us to do this. It's not good to have enemies. My dog just walked in. I swear the door didn't just... Holy crap. That was pure fear. I don't know if you guys saw that in my eyes. What was I saying? Just eliminate the drama and live a good life, a full life. For a while, I'd always tell myself, I'm going to keep these enemies in my life because of the fact that it's going to motivate me to do greater things. That's not the case. It's slowing me down. I spend more time or more energy thinking about them, wondering what they think about me, or being frustrated at the fact that they aren't there supporting me than I do chasing my dreams and my goals. Go and reach out to those people. Let them know, hey, thank you for being a part of my life. Thank you for being such a good friend. and I'm so sorry for what I've done, or if I've done anything wrong. And don't be afraid to let them know that you're gonna move on. Let them know you're moving on, and you're gonna start working on changing yourself. Right? That's all they need to know. They don't need to know anything else. And get to work. Get your life in order. These are the core 4 from the book, How to Make Sht Happen. And obviously, I'm not going to say the word, guys. I know you guys want me to say it, but I don't swear like that. I think that's atrocious. No better way to make yourself look like trash than swearing all the time. Okay, but my name is Gabriel Bowman. Thank you guys for watching this video. Hopefully you guys got a lot of value out of this. And if you haven't read the book, go ahead and read it. An hour and a half of a listen. Come on, you can keep listening that days and days and days on. And get your life changed. This guy has created a wealth of business and success in his life. And I know you guys can do the same thing just by following these core 4. Just makes sense. And I'll see you in the next video. I post every Monday. Please like, comment, and subscribe so you don't miss any of my future videos. See you later.